So Demon Lord 2099 has the potential to do the most messed up thing possible and kill off its lead, Machina. Will they? To be honest, partially in episode 5 I was thinking they might. By the end of the episode, I'm thinking probably not. But over the past couple of episodes, they've introduced a Psycho-Pass level plotline, where in order to keep the city going, they have to burn immortals alive in a furnace in order to fuel the city, because the city is designed, I forget how many lines, but like these magical lines run through the city, and they have about 2 that's powering a whole city that needs like 8 or something to make it active. So the way they do it is they burn immortals alive. So the idea that we're building into using Machina as fuel is frightening. Now, it's very easy for me to say, I've seen so many anime, and how many actually go the route of going that brutal? Not many. But that's why I'm generally interested if the author would want to go crazy enough, because there is ways to continue to write the story. You have another female lead who could, try to fill the void. He already destroyed his apartment building. It's not like he has a home to go back to. There is the transition. Will they? I'm 90% sure they won't. But the question remains, if they don't burn her, who do they burn? Do they burn Marcus, this wannabe demon lord? He would act as fuel, but if you eliminate him so early, who's the villain that comes up next? We're in a situation where the current system at play needs to continue until there is a solution to power the city elsewise. I think it is going to relate to our demon lord having enough power himself and worship that he could power the city himself. There's potential for this to go dark. I have full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and good thought to any of these Demon Lord episodes over there exclusively. So I watched episode 4 yesterday, took a look at episode 5 that just released today, and damn. Past couple of episodes, definitely the best the show's been, and like I said, very Psycho-Pass level vibes. What they are doing with the way the city's being powered, it's kind of like a necessary evil, which is kind of the thing I've always liked about Psycho-Pass, is that a lot of the cases and what you can see about things, it's not just simply person was bad, like sometimes shit that happens and the way the society's built, if you try to just topple it over, the whole society will collapse on itself and the damage would be irreversible. So the idea that I think the direction we go in order to break down the current system, we know our boy, the more people who believe in him, worship him, or even just speak his name in hate, powers him up, as seen by his Twitch streaming. So, my theory is if we get him to the point of being so powerful that everyone worships him, whether that continues to be streaming or not remains to be seen, because he did get his whole setup blown up. Not that he couldn't replace it, but, it's possible they might try to change course. Him powering the city via his own magic because he has so much worship is definitely a possibility, and I think probably the likeliest way they solve this issue. But at the same time, could they reverse engineer this to work differently? Maybe, but only time will tell. The thing is that it's not like I want her to die, but there is something about the potential of killing Machina off here, what that would do to a Demon Lord's psyche, but most importantly, what that would then do to the relationship between the hero and him that is now kind of at an interesting point. I do believe the hero when he says that, he seems tamer, a little more calm. The fact that not only did he bow down, but it's the fact that, he has that confidence still, but there's something a bit different about him. And the idea that for a hero, he's like, listen, I'm never going to support a system that basically uses others to support, the masses, but unfortunately you're asking me to save a singular person, which in return would then kill hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. It's unfortunate, but her death might be the thing that has to happen in order for it to continue. And he's out here saying, no, I'm going to save her and I'm going to change the system. I don't see how personally. I know he's got the determination, but it feels like someone's death has to happen. And if it's not going to be Machina, then it has to be Marcus, right? Like, that's the only thing that would make sense. Or they kill off the hero, which I also suspect is unlikely. Now, all this could be pointless to talk about. Episode 6 could come in and they easily solve this with no death. But they definitely want you to be concerned. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spent the past 2 episodes now building in this holy shit plotline that, well, they need to keep using firewood being people. But man, that ain't right. This show has been very fun up until the past couple of episodes. Now it's more in the depressing, the serious, the almost We're getting into some psychological horror if you think of it. But this show's so different, and I truly believe, and I stand by the statement, I was saying it within the first 3 episodes, this is probably the most unique, pure Demon Lord story I've seen in recent memory. You add in what they've now done with 4 and 5, the crown just, it's super glued on this man's head at this point, because he's truly unique. The best way to describe this show at this point, and it sounds like it shouldn't work at face value, Psycho-Pass meets Devil is a Part-Timer had the weirdest love child, and it's freaking wonderful. Because the seriousness of the world and everything going on behind the scenes, and then the comedy and situations of, you know, our Demon Lord Veltol and, you know, his streaming career and all that, it's very Devil's a Part-Timer-y. But it feels like there's a way more... The thing about Devil's a Part-Timer that it fell off, now, ignoring the way the production looked in its later seasons, it's the fact that the story just kind of felt like it didn't make a lot of sense, or the story beats they were giving were not that engaging. Where with something like this, having something feel a lot more psychopathy and, you know, having that extreme terror of what can happen and how a man's going to rise above and rule over everyone is actually a really engaging story on top of the simplistic fun, and it just has an interesting vibe you can't really compare to. At face value, I can make comparisons to Psycho-Pass or Devil's a Part-Timer, but the actual episodes themselves feel very, very unique. And as I've said, I love the visual style of this. The background details, it's literally like playing Cyberpunk 2077. I want to go explore this. This is just like Night City. It's beautiful. And I really like the character models. They're sometimes silly and over the top, but they really get across exactly what they're going for. I'm liking this one. It's definitely being slept on, for sure, like a lot of shows, sadly, this season. But yeah, episodes 4 and 5 have definitely cranked up the quality. And I don't know, like, if we go the route of saving Machina, solving the energy crisis, what would be the next big threat? That's why it almost feels like we have to have some sort of loss here in order to overcome. Because to me, this doesn't feel like an episode 5, this feels like an episode 9, 10, 11. Like, this is like the finish line of an anime season, and this is the halfway point of this anime season. I just feel like the show ain't gonna play by the rules, but if she does end up surviving, I mean, I do really like her character. I'm not saying she needs to die because I hate her. It just almost feels like she needs to die for the plot, but in this author, do I currently trust? Let me know your thoughts and feelings, though, down below. What did you think of the past couple of episodes, and where do you hope to see it go in episode 6? Thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're around here. Of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll just give you a video shout out. So today we got Zachary Barnett. Original name here, Brian Gonzalez, Cody Tiffany, Gled, Tiara's Grace, and we also have Torvac. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you'll have a good one.